Hello Internet, my name is TheRadams97 and this is Total War Warhammer. This is a 1v1 between me and a good friend of mine who uses the online name of DaggerX. I am playing as the Vampire Count and he the Greenskins. Let's get into army comps. So I am bringing as my main infantry force 4 units of Grave Guards with 1 bronze chevron. I'm also bringing on my front line a Vargulf to disrupt his formation before my infantry go in. On my left flank I'm bringing 2 units of Cairn Wraiths with a Necromancer that are going to act as kind of an ambushing force. My general is a Vampire Lord riding a Zombie Dragon, and I have 3 units of Black Knight Cavalry on the right hand flank hiding in the tree line. As for the Greenskins, they are bringing 2 units of Goblin Archers that are going to do their early skirmishing. He's bringing 2 units of Orc Boys on each side of his infantry flank. He has 1 unit of Black Orcs and his main infantry is a triple gold chevron upgraded Crimson Killers. He's also bringing 2 units of Forest Goblin Spider Riders for his cav, 1 Arachnarok Spider, 2 units of Doom Divers, then he's also bringing an Orc Shaman and Grimgore Ironhide as his general. Let's get this underway. So the very first thing to note is I deployed very quickly and tried to catch him off guard, and as a result his artillery was left out of position. He's quickly going to try and manoeuvre that into place behind his army, but I'm going to spring my cavalry trap almost instantly as soon as I've given my Grave Guard the order to march. So he's going to now decide to just use his cavalry as a defence for his Doom Divers, whilst they start trying to get some early harass on my approaching infantry. He's going to stay completely still because he knows he doesn't have to move because I've got absolutely no range. So here the main battle will begin with my cavalry charge. Since he sent his Arachnarok Spider in to try and stop my cavalry, I'm going to commit 1 unit of cavalry to just get rid of that, to just play with it, whilst 1 unit of my cav is going to charge straight into his Spider Riders, and I'm going to break 1 unit off to the side. It's going to send some Orc Boys to intercept, but I'm going to feign the charge and at the very last second pull them out of there. And they are now going to go and ignore the fights going on with the other cav and go straight for his Doom Divers to put them out of commission as quickly as possible. So at this point, as you can see, my infantry have now moved into position. He's broken off his one of his unit of archers to try and fight the cavalry, whilst the other unit is firing on my incoming Grave Guards. He's going to set his Crimson Killers up and start using his magic. Now I'm a bit of a noob at this game and I'm not used to using the magic, and my Necromancer and my Vampire Lord are currently away from the battle. So now my infantry are going to just charge straight in on his lines, and because he wasn't moving, I sprung my trap with my Cairn Wraiths on the left flank. So those archers he broke off are now going to turn around and start firing onto my Grave Guards here using their angle. Having completely got rid of his Doom Divers, I'm going to bring those cavalry around, and now they're going to go after his flanks. Most importantly, going to silence these Goblin Archers. Beautiful charge. So the others are just kind of teasing these Orc Boys at the moment, and whilst that second unit gets in behind and really goes to town and does their job of charging them down. You can see his archers are completely destroyed at this point, so these cav are going to pull away and they're going to find a new job. So now my Cairners fighting his Black Orcs, and my infantry have just fallen into an awful mosh pit, which really serves to his advantage because of his vastly superior infantry. So he's going to try and bring his Arachnarok in, but I'm going to try and get rid of it with those Black Knights that I pulled away earlier. that unit of Black Knights had just gone to deal with his Doomdiver catapult units, which were starting to rally. The rest of my guys are going to just make sure that the rest of his infantry is being chased from the field. Now brought in my Vampire Lord for that morale boost, or whatever the Necromancer variant is. Sadly, his Ragnarok Spider did get into a fight, so I'm going to have my Graveguard fighting that. Also, another thing with my Vampire Lord being there is I'm able to use the Summon Zombies spell, just to give me a bit of extra infantry mass, especially taking on these Crimson Killers, which are a real pain in the arse to deal with. But as for the rest of his infantry, my flanking force has been able to deal with most of that. We got a nice charge of this Forest Goblin Spider Riders on one of my units of Cane Roast, but the other unit is going to go in and going to try and get some damage off him with their Ragnarok. At this point I start to move up my Necromancer just because I figured I'm going to need him in the fight. My cavalry's just been the centre of my micromanagement until this point, so they've had a pretty decisive bit of work going in there. Get some cinematic shots. As you can see, the battle here is now just absolute carnage, with enemies to every side, and there's a bit of hammer and anvil coming in from my cav. As you can see, I've now brought two of my units of cav into the main fight here, whilst one just continues to chase off the stragglers over at the first area of contact. And one of these units of cav is going to end up dying now and crumbling away because I left them in the fight too long, but the other unit that is over here is going to just chase off any stragglers and try and get some nice bit of charging off. Although seeing the threat this Ragnarok is posing, I'm going to bring my Vampire Lord down and get my Black Knights just to try and go after this thing, get it off the field. And it's going to rout, so I'd say job well done. You can see that my infantry is really starting to take losses. At this point, basically all my Grave Guards are now dead. And my Cairn Wraiths aren't looking too good either. These Crimson Killers are nasty. But since they are DLC infantry, I suppose you'd expect that. So at this point, it's mostly just my cavalry that are going. And here's my Necromancer now getting into the fight. And beautiful decay! This battle really shows the strength of Grimgor Ironhide, because he's been in the fight from the very beginning and his health is pretty much full. So all his straggler infantry, he's going to start just pulling them into this pit of whatever you want to call this, really. You know, as soon as they rally from routing. But obviously I've got my cavalry just ready to run them down. Seeing the damage that my Vampire Lord are taking, I'm going to pull him out of the fight that's going on here, because yeah, he's just not doing anything good at that point. So he saw that the cavalry were coming in, so he tried to counter-charge into them, but it didn't really work out for him as he'd expect, infantry charging into cavalry. We're going to just start to cut them down and drag them from the field once more. But it's going to cost me that cavalry unit. And now the Ragnarok is going to come back. I'm going to use what's left of that cav just to try and get rid of it again. Whilst combat here just carries on. As you can see, I've committed one of my units of Black Knights completely to the fight, and I'm now relying on my summoned zombies. I've driven off his big boss, and at this point his Crimson Killers have finally been beaten down and have fled due to the might of my dragon riding Vampire Lord. and his infantry just aren't going to be able to get back into the fight now, so this is really just Grimgor Ironhide there, who he's using to just straight up attack my Vampire Lord. His focus is to just bring down the Lord, and at that point he knows it'll make the rest of my army just crumble. So he's desperately taking everything as soon as it rallies, just trying to get it into this battle. Seeing that things aren't looking too good for my Vampire Lord, I'm going to pull him out of this fight shortly, then leave it to my zombies to try and get some damage off on Grimgor. Not that they can do a particularly good amount of damage. As you can see, the Ragnarok is still being very irritating, so I'm going to send my zombies just to intercept whilst my cavalry move in on Grimgor. I do pull my Vampire, yeah, there we go. And this is where I pull my Vampire Lord out, because the Ragnarok was the last straw on me deciding it's not worth keeping in there. So the plan was to kill or drag this off once again and then get him back. In the meantime, he's going to go after these Crimson Killers, the three that have just rallied, because even one of those I think is a problem for my going to make my victory very difficult at this point. So I'm going to land my Vampire Lord in, he's going to kill one on the landing, take a bite out of the second, and eat the third. And just like that, they are dead. So he's going to take to the skies once again. So now my zombies are just having a party with Grimgor, and the remnants of my cavalry are in, but at this point that is all I have. Those zombies, that cavalry and the Vampire Lord. But at the same time all he has is Grimgor and his goblin big boss. This was a very, very close fight. And you could say there's no real winner in this battle. So this big boss is going to get driven off before it can do too much. But Grimgor, oh Grimgor. As you can see, there's just a mess of bodies along the ground where the battle was fought. As for where the initial battle started, nowhere near as much. Seems to be a lot of dead Black Knights as well, a few spiders there. So yeah, I've pulled my Lord out and I'm just letting my zombies go to town, and yeah, the last of my Black Knights has now died. So Grimgor is just going to do everything he can to fight these zombies, but I'm going to grow incredibly impatient and just crash my Vampire Lord in, accidentally killing off all the zombies. And at this point I don't have any mana left, so I can't do anything else. So, who will win? Vote now on your phones. And there we have it. The closest victories. Grimgor was one hit from death. Just so you can see the end game statistics. There we go. As you can see, most of my kills went to my Black Knights. As for my Vargulf, it went in, disrupted his lines, but due to the strength of his Crimson Killers, they just killed it off pretty much instantly. So that strategy didn't work. But as for the rest of it, as you can see, the vast majority of his kills were due to his Crimson Killers and his Ragnarok. Although one unit of his Orc Boys certainly did well, but I imagine a lot of them were likely zombies. Thank you for watching. My name has been the Radams97.